Hello, Mr. Farrell. Well, I've been looking forward to this one. I really have been. You are the original owner of this watch. You bought this while you were stationed in Okinawa in 1977. It's nice. It's all original. These speed timers, for some reason, they tend to be really beaten. A lot of the ones I see, it's very rare for me to see them nice like this. It's super cool. I'm looking forward to it. I know that we're having trouble with the chronograph is not going over 58, but the whole watch is stopping. So that's fine if that's the case. That means that it's just a cleaning and adjustment thing. It means that your chronograph wheel should be good. So let's look off. Movement looks good. It's obviously I have it wound up. It's not running, but that's what we expected, right? So if I stop the chronograph, I got a little tick out of it. That's running. There she blows. Okay. It's running. And that's what the chronograph stops, so it's disengaged, which is what we thought was the case. So it's a runner. It resets. Let's check that reset. What? It's upside down. Let's see. Okay. Reset is working. Sorry for all the noise. So let's stop it and see what happens. It'll run for 59 seconds and then probably stop. I guess while we're waiting to see if that happens, I can pull the winding weight. Come on. Gosh, the screaming. Sebastian said the F word. Let's see now. Okay, that's interesting. These are the incorrect screws. These are not Seiko screws at all. This looks like a replacement bridge. The taps on these are actually they're smaller than all the other ones. They're specific to this bridge. I hope that did not get jacked up. I will look at them here in a second. I mean, they work. There's no reason not to reuse them as long as they do what they're supposed to do. Yeah, that looks like the right tap to me. Huh, interesting. That is pretty nutty. Let's see. Yeah. That's pretty clean. Gosh, look at how clean that is. It's got a little bit of wear from that wheel there, but nothing major. There's your magic lever. Okay, it's still running. That's always good news. We want things to keep running. Aha! That is where we see our problem. We look right here. That finger came around and it contacted this in the wrong. They contacted here and everything stopped. No, it's an adjustment issue, which should not be that big of a deal. So we go blink. We help that flick over, and lo and behold, it runs again. Yes. So it's an adjustment thing. When I'm going through this, I'll figure that out. That's good news. Movement looks nice. Case looks nice. Let's rip it apart. Yeah, it's the minute counter assembly is just gummy. And also this spring is kind of weak. The adjustment placement is correct, so I'm not worried about that. The person who had the non-Seiko screws also put in a non-Seiko button spring. It functions. I just need to. I mean, to make this look right, you just trim off the extra loops on the end, but even that's not that huge of a deal. Let's. Come on. There we go. Yeah, good stem. Yeah, it's not real dirty inside. That's a pretty good place to start. Okay, so let's let down that mainspring. Come on, stop. Yeah, I think this is going to be fine. I think it's going to be just fine. Basic service. I looked everything under real magnification. Everything's kind of hazy, a little gummy looking. There's no lubrication under the capsule, but you know, this is as good. This is a great place to start. Okay, looking at the dial, it's original, which is nice. The gentleman who did the work, he did a few things. This hand was painted. No big deal. I'm just telling you so you know. And so I might clean up just this center boss a little bit because it's supposed to be bright metal like this one. There's also a few bits of it's got some patina from just age. So you can see this section right here, right there. There, you can there you go. You can see it on the surface there and here. You can't really see it unless you really look close. I'm not exactly sure what this is because I just saw it. So, but I'll clean it out. I always want to be careful with one of these dials because it's not hard to jack up the printing on these. So, less is always more. Okay. Here we've got. The minute counter hand here will not reset to 0. I can move it around and hit reset and it kind of goes like, it just kind of jumps around. So we'll see what's up with that. Might be just gluey. Maybe the pinion is out of the wheel. That happens. And if so, I can fix it. But I'm just documenting stuff for you. Off. Thinking. Alrighty then. Trying to see reflections of the faces of the stones to see if they're worn, but it needs to really be cleaned first before I do that. Okay. Boink. That's always fun. Okay. Let's see how we. Well, I can see that there's gunk on there. Okay, I'll have to clean that up. Let's see what we got. This is, yeah, I was right. The pinion on this is coming out. Yeah, okay. Look at it, it just fell off. Yep, So I'm going to need to restake that. But yeah, the wheel portion of that just came right off. So that is why that hand was bouncing all over the place, which is typical. That's why I suspected it. So I can restake that. It's pretty common. So it's not that big of a deal. Okay, that was our answer. So I was right. The minute counter wheel was coming apart, and that's what happens. And the rest of it looks okay. Okay, pulling off the next layer of stuff. Well, it looks pretty clean so far. Get out of there. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. There we go. Sorry for all the squeaking. Kids are home and they're already done with their schoolwork, and so it's just lots of things going on. There we go. And kids being kids, they are loud. There we go. Nice. So that screw is still in there, but it's usually easier just to tap it out when we get this bridge off. Out. Out, out, damn spot. Little Shakespeare for you today. There we go. It's always the saddest thing in the world when you're putting these things together and you forget to put this gear in place, because without that, the hand winding doesn't work. Up there you go. There's your train. There's your train. There she blows. Just give it a little bit of a light hold, and if it spins, I can pretty much guarantee that it's good. I have a testing rig and I will test it, but and the fourth wheel section is good. It's in plane. Your third wheel. It looks all nice and shiny. This movement has been well treated. Well treated, never abused. That center wheel cock out of there. Gosh, it's so nice. What a nice, clean. I've spent my own time working on a Rolex 1570 movement, and it was filled with water at a certain point, and boy, this is just such a pleasure to see. There's your lower mainspring arbor jewel that these come equipped with from the factory. There's your center wheel. This is the bottom end of the lever. It's just the stop lever for the 12-hour counter. This is your mainspring barrel. That little diddly on the top is the drive gear for the 12-hour. It's a slipping friction thingy. Yeah, real typical. Real typical. You can see it's just a little dirty, doesn't look bad. Same with this, you can see the S2 mainspring grease in there. Pull out this. There's your arbor, mainspring arbor. Exciting stuff. Okay, let's get this out of here. Smack. Oh, mainspring's coned a little. It's not sitting flat. So I'll see if I can correct that. But I might need to replace that. We'll see how it does. I'll look at it. The bridle looks good. Okay, so I'll check that out. Barrel looks fine. Tiny little bit of brassing inside, but it's okay. I've got to clean that up. All right, so let me get that done. Definitely not good. It's actually got something I cannot remember seeing for a very long time. You run your finger up it, and it feels like washboard, driving on washboard on a dirt road. Bub, 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 bub. I don't know if you can see it. Look at the reflection. See, it's got like peaks and valleys. It's going up and down. Boom, 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 boom. That's not good. And it has, you can actually see it's been like that for a long time. There are wear spots on the high points. I'm trying to show this. And what that means is that it's not going to unwind smoothly. It's not going to deliver power smoothly. It's going to hang up and release and hang up and release. It's going to drag. So this is definitely junk. Okay, well, always nice to find a problem so we can fix it. Okay. You can see that you kept it on the English day because the Japanese kanji red Sunday is nice and clean. Snaps nice and cleanly. Yep, that's fine. I'm sure that this is fine, but it's always nice to check. Make sure that it pushes over as it ought to. Let's see. Click, click, click. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that is fine. Okay, let's get the next basket over here. These little C-rings are always interesting. There we go. You always see whenever it's on you. Whenever I know for a fact that a movement's been worked on by a non-Seiko person, I always look to see if this ring is upside down, if the beveled side is up, because it's supposed to be down. That's what you see sometimes. A little bit of grease on there. Nothing major. This stuff out of here. Ooh, that screw was loose. Again, just like the other side, this looks really clean. You stop fighting me. So clean, gosh, it's so nice. A little bit of flakes and flecks on there, nothing major. So clean, gosh. Right there is your minute counter wheel, right there. That's the 12-hour, and so the hand sits right on here. And there's the minute counter would be right here. And there are those round top screws that are only used in this place. Not a couple other models, but in the 6138, that's the only place they go. So now I'm unscrewing the calendar plate, which is really what differentiates the 6138 from the 6139, is the additional complication of the 12-hour, and that requires then a new plate that sits on top of all that stuff. And come here, stop running away from me. We pull this off. Come on. You can see there's the lower mainspring arm report, and there's the calendar plate. God, look at how clean that is. That's wild. So nice. And there this is. You can see all this stuff. Hour wheel, minute wheel. Come on. Oh, I'll have to work on that. Intermediate, there's that intermediate date driving wheel there. There's the 12-hour wheel. Just like that. That's the stop lever. This is the interaction lever that actuates with the stop lever up here. This is the hammer, which resets on the heart. This is the secondary. It's this crazy double situation here. Cannon pinion. And that's kind of how we do it. And that's the one thing about these is you got to be really careful when you're pulling the stems on these, because if you're in the wrong position, the stem has to be all the way in, because if it's not all the way in, then the winding pinion and the setting pinion are apart, and then you can't put it back in, and it's a real problem. That's always something to be careful with. Believe me, I've made that mistake more times than I can count. There are some tricks sometimes to getting it back together. But notice that was a nice metal wheel. Despite this being all the way in the late 70s, that was a metal wheel. Normally, by this point, they would have gone with plastic. I guess that says something about the priorities of the Japanese people when it comes to exporting the good stuff. JDM, they always, the thing is they always, JDM stuff, they always keep the good stuff for home. Come on. Okay, this is one of those things that I am going to need to be right on top of to the final thing. Pulling your case apart. This is the crystal that's in there. It's a good crystal. Doesn't have any marks. It's mineral glass. I don't know who made this or what it is, but like the sealing surfaces are good. It's got all the nice frosting. There's no reason to replace this crystal, so I'll just clean that and reinstall it. Case is mostly clean. I mean, believe me, I've seen where sealing surfaces are great. It's just dusty. Just dusty. Okay, cool. Okay, that's what I get for being so excited. Been putting it all back together and realized I hadn't made any segments. So anyway, this is this point. You can look at this. This is the 12-hour minute counter wheel here. And we can just check to make sure that it goes blink and it goes back. Just like that. It should point directly this way. Let's run it the other direction. And go blink. Sorry, get a good handle on it. There it is. Cool. Now it is time to start assembling the other bits. Date driving wheel. Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to look. Date finger. Day wheel finger, just like that. Sorry for all the noise in the background. That's what we're looking for. Okay. These things, they always end up the wrong way. I could try flipping them over, but it never seems to work. You just drop them until they get to where they are supposed to be. There's that. Oops. Let's try that again. There we go. I'm going to get to the point of having the date wheel in place, and then I like to flip it and get the train running. And then once that's done, I call it a day for the day and let this run in overnight and deal with other stuff. Like I think I've got 48 emails. I get a ton of emails. A lot of them are junk, of course, but a lot of them are important. They require a response, but I get so many, I can't answer them as they come in. I'll never get anything done. So I flag them and I answer them in a single session as I have time. And I got started earlier today, so I am going to let this one start to run in earlier, and I'm going to use the late afternoon then for emails. Because people are always like, I wrote and I never heard back. I realize nobody can ever really grasp what it's like here, but man, I'm busy. I am busy. Let's sync this last one. Okay, cool. So I just saw something interesting. There's your dial. On the back of your dial, we see evidence of the past. See this right here? That, those are that is the decal, the remains of the old date wheel. Your current date wheel is undamaged. It's not missing any of this stuff. So at some point, enough water got in before the last service that it glued the surface decal in this place, and it's still there. Isn't that interesting? It doesn't need to come off or anything. It's fine. It's just like a decal on a model, except it's backwards and upside down and on the wrong part. But there you go. Ghost of the past. Getting it together. Drop the train bridge on, which is always delicate. I'm just testing the free running here. That's what we want to see, how nice and clean it is. We'll test the automatic winding. See, this is turning, which means I remembered to put that gear in under there. Just like that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Good stuff. I'm just doing a few little fun things here, and then I'm going to have to get right on top of it again, so I'll be turning this off, but it's fun. Whoops. See, that's why I need to be right on top of it. Would you stop fighting me? Yeah, 2 o'clock. Hopefully get this thing running, and then emails. Are you dropped in there yet? Yes, you are. Okay, cool. is not. Yeah, I've got to be right on top of this. Okay, here comes the fun part. So we have, here's the bottom of the minute counter wheel. You see that little thing flips around there, and we don't want it to do that. So we've got to make sure that it is going to stay where we want it to stay. We got to take this. This is our pinion. There. And then, come on. Try to get that where it's supposed to be. There it is. Good. Now, I should have grabbed my little hammer. I didn't. It's a goof. That should be that. Let's see if it runs flat. Let me see if I can get a little tighter, just to make sure that it runs. Because you've got some pretty tight tolerances here, and I don't want to have anything funky going on. Oops, I'm a goof. Let's try that again. Okay. Sorry. Okay, I think that's where we need to be. Cool. Okay, getting closer. Always fun. Let's a little bit of power in the mainspring. You can see that she's spinning. Okay, cool. Right on. Alrighty, okay. So here we go. Hang on just 1 second. Let's see if I did things okay. Well, sort of. Looks like it's running. Might be running. Yeah, it's doing something. Yep. It's definitely running. I'm joking, of course it's running. But, you know, never take anything for granted. Never, ever. Now, I haven't adjusted the chronograph setup for the minute wheel yet. I haven't done anything. I just pre-staked it. So we're just going to wait here. I just want to watch this come around. We're going to watch right here. That's the window where it is. This is slightly out of adjustment, but I'm going to see where it sits in relation to the finger. And if I don't have to change it, I won't. Because when you change one thing, you have to change another thing, and another thing, and another thing. Okay, cool. Let's look at the amplitude. Let us see what we got. Well, sometimes it's fast, like this. Sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's fast. In terms of getting it set. It's still settling. Sitting here, it's the minute counter wheel is still pushing over nicely. Signal's cleaning up. Alrighty, I'm going to let it run for a little bit. I'll check back in after I work on some emails. We'll see how it goes. But it should be fine. I didn't see anything wacky inside the movement. Okay, let's see how it ends up. So here we go. Not bad for the day after. Cool. All right. Okay, and that's the end of that story. You saw the whole thing. Here's your packet with your parts, including your bad mainspring. I encourage you to pull that thing when you get it and run your fingers along it, squeeze it between your fingers, and you can feel the rumpliness. I cleaned off the boss on both of these, so it's metal like it ought to be. And that's good. Now this is the thing. Well, you've had it for a long time. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I always recommend resetting it when that big main sweep is right here, so that you don't stress out the chronograph wheel. There it is. Again, so fun to see watches like this, original owner pieces. Bought in Okinawa. That's pretty cool, man. All right, it is ready to go. Okay, thank you so much.